everyone. I am the owner and operator of Hardy & Fuller, a metal space. We are the premier metal maker space in Denver, Colorado. Come see my shop, see what we're all about. Welcome in. I'm super glad that you're here. It has been a while since we've done our last shop tour video, and I have changed quite a lot. I spent the last 2 years kind of like watching people use my shop. I'm very interested in safety and efficiency, so I wanted to make the spaces the most useful that they possibly could be and fitting everything into the footprint that we have. So I have changed some things up just to make it better for everyone who's in here. So let's go ahead and start the tour so you can see what's been happening. We're gonna start in the blacksmith area over here. When you first walk in, you first see an anvil, which is always really exciting. I have 3 anvil stations, and each of these anvils is a 100-pound anvil. I have your hammers on the anvil stations, as well as tools for your hardy holes here. I have tongs and vices at each station. So I think these are really awesome stations for beginners because all of your tools are here, at least the most basic tools that you're going to use the most often. When you start getting into specialty tools, I have a whole rack of tools over here. I have so many different things over here. We have guillotine tools for the hardy holes and the anvils, you know, chisels galore, texture tools, more hammers, though I don't think I have enough hammers, so don't be surprised if that fills up. Just lots of different things for us to be able to create beautiful objects. And then central to this space is the Empress. This is my forge. She is a natural gas ribbon forge. I love this. I was so thrilled when a friend of mine was able to get this for me. They were made specifically by a forge maker named Jorgen Harl. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. He's awesome. And he did a forge build workshop at my friend's forge in Berthoud, Colorado, called Innovation Forge. They're doing another one this year. If you're interested, you can make your own forge, but this thing is awesome. My last forge's name was Your Majesty, and I've upgraded to the Empress, which is great. She is run by natural gas, and the natural gas does come out of this blue box up here. That is called a natural gas booster. The booster takes the gas from the building, and the gas comes in at 2 psi, and then when it goes into my booster, I can boost it anywhere from 0 to 15 psi, depending on what I need. For this forge, I usually only push it to about 7, if anything. She doesn't need that much because the air inside helps create the vortex of fire, and it's just a generally awesome forge. So, the blacksmith area. Now, we're gonna come on over to my fleet of belt sanders. Dun, dun, dun. I have so many belt sanders, it's crazy. I don't know how many I had in our last video, but man, have we upgraded. I found these belt sanders online. They are called Bucktool, the company, and I liked them because of their horsepower. In such a small little guy, you're getting, I think it's 3/4 horsepower. Anyways, you're getting a lot of power from this guy, which is awesome. That's what I wanted. And then I was asking my knife maker instructor, Akiva, what he needed. And he said that this was the minimum of what they needed. And he said they've grown on him over time. They're really cute little workhorses. They do the job really well. So these are primarily used during knife making classes, but during Blacksmith 101, you're definitely going to be using one of these because I like to make sure that everything on your piece is something that you're happy with. So whether that's the profile of the piece you're making, how soft it is so that it's body safe, and just generally the way that it looks. I will teach you to use a belt sander because it's going to be one of the more important tools you use during open studio hours when you come back to continue practicing blacksmithing on your own. So, belt sanders. You can see each belt sander has its own little board that has the number attached to it. This board is filled out by our members telling us what belt is left on this. So this is number 2 right here, and that's a 320 belt. That just helps us all stay organized, as well as my plasma CNC cutout organization here on the wall. Just generally, I am interested in organization, in case you haven't noticed. So yes, besides that, let's walk over here to the bandsaw. So the bandsaw is where you're gonna come to cut your flat material. So we're thinking anything up to 3/16 of an inch is what you're kind of trying to cut here. This is not a heavy duty cutter. So if you're just cutting plate steel, cutting a knife shape out of some steel, if you don't want to forge the profile, really anything like that, you can get that done on this tool. And yeah, this is a great little tool to use for flat material. Now, if you want to cut your big stuff, so you're fabricating in the welding area, or you're needing bigger material for blacksmithing or a specific length, you're going to use this saw over here. So this is my big chop saw. Her name is Eva. She's got these lovely scary teeth on her. Super fun. This again is for cutting all your material down to specific lengths. This is not a tool for cutting weird stuff. You want it to be flat and as straight as possible. That's it for this tool. So we have our bar stock, our square tubing, angle iron, and things like that can be cut on this tool. For other cutting, if you need to like cut something weird up, you're probably going to use an angle grinder. I do explain all of this in my safety course. So when you take the safety course, you get to learn how to use all of my fabrication tools. So the bandsaw, the chop saw, how to change all of the belts on the belt sanders, how to use an angle grinder, cutting and grinding safely, how to use a 90 grinder on the air compressor, and how to use a drill press. So all of those will then be available to you after you take that course, and it is good to know how to do all of those things. So saws. When you're cutting or using the belt sanders or anything really in the shop at all, if you don't already wear glasses, you're gonna need to come over to my PPE area. I definitely require these safety glasses to be worn by all non-glasses wearers. I also usually in the Blacksmith 101 class, I require a glove on your non-dominant hand, so the hand that you do not write with or hammer with. And then everything else is here for you though, so please use all of our stuff. I have over the ear protection here. I have inner ear protection here. We have masks to protect your lungs. I also have fabrication jackets to protect your body and your clothes for when you're angle grinding or cutting on the saw a lot. I am a personal preference full face mask wearer because I do not enjoy things hitting my face. And then I also have leather aprons so that you can further protect your clothes while you're in the shop. So all of this is always here and it's for you. Please feel free to buy your own though. If you're here and you want more things, that's totally fine with me. Just remember to take them home afterwards because I might get confused as to whose is whose and what is what. Besides that, if we're walking over here talking about how to take care of our bodies, we're also talking about my tiny fridge. I have water and sparkling water in there. I have cheese sticks in the bottom drawer, popsicles in the freezer, snacks on top. Those are all free and all for you at all times. I just want you to be nice to yourself. Please take care of your body in here. It is crucial. It gets hot in here. Max 86 is what we've hit because we have a fantastic HVAC system. But still, you want to make sure you are hydrating and eating something because it's a lot of physical activity. So that's always there for you. As is my first aid kit. The first aid kit is filled with things that you're gonna use if anything happens to you. More often you're gonna need a Band-Aid because you have some really good blisters going on. Maybe you burned your fingertips by touching something hot while you were belt sanding, or you got a scale burn on your arm that you need some burn gel for. All of that is here. It is always stocked and here for you. I even have cough drops and Advil and things that, you know, maybe you just need something while you're here. It's here. And ask us if you need anything else. We'll always provide for you. Besides this area, I do have my awesome toolbox that I have organized for my knife makers. I have quite a cohort of knife makers coming into the shop nowadays. Akiva is an amazing teacher, and I think he just teaches so well and makes it so accessible that people want to keep coming back and practicing on their own or taking more classes. So I have now created a toolbox for them that is filled with knife making materials. So we have the metal that you can purchase here. We have handle materials, so walnut to hickory, some brass, some leather. I have handle making, so all the things that go with handle making, and then all of that fun stuff. You can purchase this from me during Open Studio. In your classes, it is provided. You can also purchase blacksmith stock from me here, just depending on what I have. You can always buy that, but you can also bring your own stuff in as well, just depending on what you want and need. We're totally fine with that. As you can see, I have a bunch of clamps here because clamping is good for you when you're angle grinding or welding. So clamp station. Here is a fabrication table. So this table is just like a catch-all. So you can see some people's projects are on the table now. This table is for when you need to be in the parts of your project where you're thinking through your project. So we're thinking about measuring, maybe we're sketching, maybe we're using the clay that I have to make a 3D model of what we're trying to make. This is the area where you will come. I have tape for you to label your materials. I have measuring tapes and pens, pencils, markers, just levels, all the things that you need, as well as the wax for when you finish blacking your blacksmith material. That all happens at this table here, as well as the table right behind you. This table is also one of those tables where you can do a lot of work at if you're needing to set things up. A lot of the times you will see people over here using my 90 grinders. I have pneumatic 90 grinders and straight grinders, which I personally love. I use these to finish my objects quite often because I don't need the aggression from the angle grinder. I just need to be like less aggressive right now. So I use these. They're awesome. And I have air piped to this table here so that you don't have to go anywhere to find an air hose. I prefer all of my like cords and hoses to stay above us, so I also have power in the ceiling too over there, so if you ever needed to pull it down for an extension cord, we have that. You can also see all of my angle grinder, what is that called? Those are my consumables. There we go. Angle grinder consumables, as well as angle grinder storage and batteries. I don't know about you guys, but I just discovered these battery powered angle grinders, and giving Milwaukee a shout out. These are awesome. I was really surprised by them. I bought them for our intermediate MIG welding class where you make a shelf, and that shelf is going to be a seamless shelf, and whew, these really blew it out of the water, so I'm glad I got them. Cool. We do have our drill press here. I love me a good drill press. The drill press is awesome as long as what you're drilling stays underneath this chuck. Like if it gets stuck under there, you won't be able to do it. So you're probably gonna find one of our drills over here and hand drill it, but more often than not, I'm over here drilling for my welding projects, or if I don't wanna punch a hole while I'm blacksmithing, then I will also come over here and drill. I have drill press clamps located here as well as in that clamp station I showed you. So, you know, safety first, make sure you don't take any fingers off. Then we have our welding station. So this is probably one of the bigger things that people have seen change in here is the welding area. I had a 5x5 acorn table here, and it just took up too much room and we weren't using its real estate. Like I just wasn't using it enough for it to be okay in here. So what I decided was having your own welding station with everything that you need, your welding consumables for TIG and MIG, your gloves, your hats, like everything that you would need is in one station. And each of these welders are multi-process welders. So we teach TIG welding, MIG welding, and sculptural welding classes here, as well as intermediate MIG welding and intermediate TIG welding, which are more project-based. And these little areas are your areas. Now, I've always learned that if you need a bigger area, you're welding on the ground. Not a big deal. You can always, you know, clamp to the ground with your ground and things like that. You can always clamp your ground to your piece while your piece is on the ground. Whew, okay, that was a lot. But let's go look at these other welders. So I have an Everlast welder, I have an ESAB welder, and I have a Lincoln welder. They're all really awesome. There are features of some that I like better than features of the other, but they in general are really, really good welders. I like the idea of having different company welders, different brands, of welders, because I want you to know they don't all come the same. And one of my biggest things and loves is when I teach someone to weld, I know that they're going to go get a welder. Welders are fairly cheap nowadays. And I want you to just know the brands change things up, and I want you to try what each of these does and kind of make decisions from there. What do you like? What don't you like? All that fun stuff. Because I'm very much interested in helping you set up your own home shop. If you don't want to come and use my tools, I'll help you find the stuff that works for you. Now, my plasma cutter. I love this tool. Shout out to my dad. He bought this table and then never used it or built it and said, hey, do you want this, when he knew I was starting the shop? And I am so thankful for it, because this is the best tool that anyone could have ever gifted me. It is a Langmuir Systems Crossfire Pro plasma cutting table. It works with a Hypertherm plasma cutter down here. This is a 65 sync plasma cutter. My table's name is Beauty. She works with my air compressor, whose name is Beast. And they make my life so much easier. I cut out art, I cut out tools, I cut out the projects for our welding classes. I love this tool. And I teach classes on this, so I want you to be able to use this and cut out your own art. We have someone right now during Open Studio who took this class as well as a welding class, and she's been making these really dope, like, hanging lamps from just the process of plasma cutting and then fabricating afterwards. It's so cool, and I love seeing the creativity that can come from this. So super excited. And then last but not least, included in our blacksmith area, we do have these tools over here. I have my awesome power hammer that I commissioned for myself earlier this year. I freaking love this thing. It's so awesome. It is called a tire hammer, and it does have a 50-pound strike, and it's just fantastic. We use this during our Blacksmith 101 class. If you're struggling, I will teach you to use this. It is not as intuitive as the videos on YouTube make it seem, or on Forged in Fire. This is just so much power, and I like to teach people how to blacksmith with their physical bodies, because you get more feedback. You hit the material, you see it moves a certain way, you say, oh, that's what happened. With this, you don't have that physical feedback. It's all in your eyeballs, so you have to be paying attention, and then you also have to know how to fix it if anything goes wrong, and to stop before it goes too wrong where it's not fixable. So this tool is a tool that it can be practiced in here, but you won't be perfect at it in the beginning, but I trust you. I'll teach you to use it just to make your life easier. I really am interested in making my shop accessible. So if you have arthritis or anything that physically causes you not to be able to stand and hammer for hours, this is for you. And then I have this really awesome knife kiln. It's a front loader kiln for our heat treatment of our knives, either during Open Studio or during our classes. This was given to the shop by a patron of ours who is awesome, and he's a really fantastic knife maker, and this tool is super helpful for making specific knife steels the exact temperature that they need to be so that they keep their hardness and their super, super sharp edges. So yeah, super fun tools. Now, our front shop area. This front area is filled with things that I have made. Not only when you come in the shop will you come to put your stuff on this shelf, but you will also put your stuff on hooks that I've made, and you'll have examples of these hooks so that you can see what a hook could look like. And then everything up front, I just want you to see different kind of designs. So we have fire pokers and wands. I have torques and candle holders. I have lots of different pendants. Just so much stuff for your house and for your body. I'm a huge fan of making body jewelry. And we have knife examples from Akiva's classes. I have cutlery sets over here. Just so many different things. We have some really cool snake armbands. You can see my snake that I'm wearing here. These are really fun projects. So yeah, we have all this fun stuff up here. And when you're coming back to use the plasma cutter, after you've taken that class during Open Studio, my computer is here for you. So the computer that I have Fusion 360 on and everything, you'll sit at this desk. You and I will work through your project before you slap it on the table to cut it. So all of this shop is for you guys. I tried my hardest to watch how you work, to watch the safety and give everyone as much space as possible. And I think we got there finally. It just took a while. So I'm really glad that you came back to see the new shop. I'm really excited about it. Woo-woo. And come in, please, with your friends. Come take classes. People have been trusting me with their moms lately, which I'm really excited about. Whew, I'm not gonna kill your mom. So come take classes with me. It'll be fun. Bye.